Good morning everyone. So for today's video, we will be talking about the teacher as a professional and our insights or major points about what we have learned from this topic. So I will be the panelist and two group mates, which is Jasper Set Arum and Darusaban, will be the discussants. So first, I will share what I have learned about the topic, the teacher as a professional. I have learned that nowadays, teachers provide the power of education, knowledge, and the basis for all things that can be accomplished in life. According to McGear 2015, teachers provide the power of education to today's youth, thereby giving them the possibility for a better future. Also, teachers simplify the complex and make abstract concepts accessible to students. Of course, one of the general and most common role of a teacher is to teach and give knowledge to students. Teaching involves a curriculum that a teacher must follow till the end of a term or a year so as to give students required knowledge. So, this topic is about teachers' acts that will improve the quality of a better education. In Presidential Decree 106, this decree shall be known as the Decree Professionalizing Teaching. It is hereby declared a policy that teacher education shall be given primary concern and attention by the government and shall be of the highest quality and strongly oriented to Philippine conditions and to the needs and aspirations of the Filipino people, even as it seeks enrichment from adaptable ideas and practices of other people, and were given the professional teacher certificate. So in the Presidential Decree 106, it made a teacher's license a requirement for teaching. Some common goals of professional education include incorporating the knowledge and values basic to professional discipline, understanding the central concepts, principles, and techniques applied in practice, attaining a level of competence necessary for responsible entry into professional practice, and accepting responsibility for the continual development of competence. It is designed to produce responsible professionals and to then ensure their continuing competence in the profession by helping them recognize and understand the significance of advancing professional knowledge and improving standards of practice. Aside from CHED Memorandum 46, teaching educational institutions are also mandated by law to be of the highest quality since teachers are recognized as potent forces for the development of the citizenry. Known as the Decree Professionalizing Teaching, they are also viewed as vital partners in nation building as defined in the Philippine Teachers Professionalization Act of 1994, which aims to strengthen the regulation and supervision of the practice of teaching in the Philippines and prescribing a licensure examination for teachers. The creation of Centers of Excellence and establishment of the Teacher Education Council, the Republic Act No. 7784, are additional initiatives towards quality assurance in teacher education. In accordance with this law, there shall be identified, designated, established, and developed in strategic places in each the regions of the country, one more and more centers of the excellence for teachers' education, and also a council that formulates policies and standards that shall strengthen and improve the system of teacher education in all existing public and private schools as it initiates a periodic review of curricula and programs for teacher education and training in the country, which is the Republic Act 7784. Also, the Congressional Commission on Education articulated that a strong need to address and improving quality teacher and recommended appropriate measures which included imposing higher admission requirements for pre-service teacher education. This is in response to the reported low passing percentage rates in the board licensure examination for professional teachers. Nowadays, teacher institutions see to it that they are able to attract the best and the brightest among high school graduates by offering scholarship grants to those who graduated from high school with the honors and those who have excelled in specific academic fields and extracurricular activities. Also, the Republic Act 10931 or the Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act of 2016 provides free tuition and other fees for Filipino students enrolled in state colleges and universities as well as in state-run technical vocational institutions in the Philippines. Other state-funded and private tertiary institutions also offer a myriad of scholarships as well as financial assistance schemes for students to qualify based on set criteria, meanwhile to ensure that teacher education in the country is globally competitive. Curricular programs have been reviewed and revised to strengthen faculty qualifications and encourage research productivity. In this light, the Philippine Normal University, as the National Center for Teacher Education, has launched pioneering efforts in response to the clarion call for reforms upon which other teacher education and higher learning institutions could build their own efforts. The outcomes-based teacher education curriculum, which commenced in 2014, was crafted to align teacher preparation with the needs of the K-12 program, the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers, and other internalization demands. The development of qualities, values, and professional dispositions is integral in promoting excellence among pre-service students. Various researchers on qualities and professional competence listed teacher characteristics. The development of qualities, values, and professional dispositions is integral in promoting excellence among pre-service students. Various researchers on teacher qualities and professional competencies listed teacher characteristics that are believed to facilitate teacher effectiveness and graduate success with recommendations for the development of content mastery, pedagogical knowledge, and knowledge of learning process, so to develop effective teaching as important characteristics of teachers. Studies conducted detailing teacher qualities, according to Balagtas et al. 2011 and Abulon 2014, underscore professional expertise and excellence as important qualities characterized by being conscient of student expectations, reflective of their behavior both inside and outside the classroom, respectful of students, teaching objectivity, and grading honestly, according to Selkan, Green, and Hushan 2014. Teacher qualities that are deemed significant among students are those that emulate the mastery of disciplined content, pedagogical knowledge, and especially when it comes in content through collaborative strategies and fairness in dealing with students. The teacher education standards, as expressed in the teacher education curriculum, mandated by the Commission on Higher Education, integrate the development of teachers who balance content mastery and professional values. So, I learned that the purpose of the Republic Act 9293, the executive department of the Philippine government responsible for ensuring access to promoting equity and improving the quality of basic education and improving the skills and qualities of the teaching profession for the best quality education for the children. The Education Act 2011 will help teachers raise standards in education. It includes new legal powers to help teachers root poor behavior, to tackle underperformances, and to improve the way in which schools are held to account. Filipino parents value education as the most important legacies that they can impart to their children. They believe that having a better education opens opportunities that would ensure a good future and eventually lift them out of poverty.
So, this is what my insights about professional ethics. So, ethics is the science of conduct. It considers the action of human being with a reference to their rightness or wrongness. The word ethics is derived from the Greek word ethos, which means character, according to Mackenzie et al. 2007. They define ethics as the study of the right or good in human conduct, or the science of the ideal involved in conduct. It is a branch of philosophy, especially the moral philosophy, that studies the evolution of concepts, such as right or wrong behavior. So, it is clear that ethics is the study which determines rightness or wrongness of actions. Ethics, then, we may say, discusses men's habits or costumes. Or, in other words, their characters, the principles on which the habitual act, and considers what is the constitutes and the righteous and wrongness of these principles. The good or evil of these habits. Ethic is the word that refers to morals, values, and beliefs of the individuals, family, or the society. The word has several meanings. First, it is activity and process of inquiry. Second, it is different from non-moral problems when dealing with issues and controversies. The third, ethics refers to a particular set of beliefs, attitudes, and habits of individuals or family or groups concerned with moral. And the fourth, it is used to mean morally correct. The study on ethics helps to know the people's beliefs, values, and morals, learn the good and the bad of them, and practice them to maximize their well-being and happiness. It involves the inquiry on the existing situation, form of judgment, and revolves the issues. In addition, ethics tells us how to live, to respond to issues through the duties, rights, responsibilities, and obligation. In religion, similarly, principles are included, but the reasoning on the procedures is limited. The principles and practices of religions have varied from time to time. And it talks about also in history, region, geographic, climatic condition, regional society, language, taste, and creed. But ethics has grown to a large extent beyond the barriers listed above. In ethics, the focus is to study and apply the principles and practices universally. So, these are my insights about the Code of Ethics for professional teachers. So, the Code of Ethics for professional teachers serves as guide for teachers, specifically to new teachers, for them to exhibit proper behavior to the learning community at all times. It is imperative that you observe and practice this set of ethical and moral principles, standards, and values. Teachers have great influence in the lives of their learners. They are expected to be professionally competent in the practice of their profession. Moreover, they need also to possess good reputation not only in the school but in their entire community. Having this big responsibility in the learning environment, teacher must be guided by this document, which comprehensively discuss the different expectations from a teacher according to SERPA 2018. As mandated in the Code of Ethics for professional teachers, you have the responsibility to interact positively with parents, community members, and other stakeholders of the school. Contact with the parents must be conducted regularly and be kept professional free from arguments. If you have an issue with parents, community members, or stakeholders, it must be presented during meetings and conferences. Being a teacher, you must recognize that education is a public service and strive to keep the public informed of the programs, projects, and other activities. Magna Carta for Public Teachers, Republic Act 4670. So, the Republic Act 4670, the Magna Carta for Public Teacher, it is a vision of the Magna Carta for public school teachers to provide programs for the promotion and improvement of the social well-being and the economic status of public school teachers, including their living and working conditions, terms of employment and career prospects. However, it seems that lethargy bordering on official neglect has beset, and the implementation of the said statute, the setting at naught whatever lofty aims the legislature has envisioned in ordaining the said Magna Carta. Hence, many years after the enhancement of the Magna Carta for public school teachers, with most of its provisions still unenforced, it behoved upon the legislature to take steps to ensure that the good laws are not only passed but that they are carried out to the letter as well. Primarily, therefore, this proposed measure seeks the full implementation of the Magna Carta for public school teachers. In unequivocal terms, if mandated that Department of Education or DepEd carry into effect the provisions of Republic Act number 4670 under pain of strict enforcement of the sanctions upon responsible officials in case of neglect or omission to perform their duties. Moreover, the Secretary of the Department of Education is further directed to submit to the President and the Congress a periodic report detailing compliance with the aforesaid mandate. Finally, in appropriate cases, government agencies are enjoined to extend almost support and cooperation to the Department of Education.
What I have learned in this module is that children and youth are critical steps in the formation of human being. Parents and teachers are the pillars of educational processes in this age group, and therefore, the work is critical to the well-being of society. Regardless of the type of school, all teachers are required to teach and promote fundamentally human rights, such as to practice them in their daily works. According to Universal Declaration of Rights of the Child and Human Rights required that reservation in all fields, with particular emphasis on the school, that is the natural space to learn, both in theory and practice. Teaching is a profession where consistency is required between the workplace and the private. The teacher is an example of well behavior, and students sees them as our role models of dignity or the authority. Therefore, the teacher must maintain consistency between what is taught and what is practiced in their lives. The teacher must exercise in its authority to generate parameters of education that make possible the development of children and young people within the framework of respect. But it must also be clear about the limits on its own power of the students, which should not be applied and as autocratic, but on the contrary, in order to develop the autonomy of children and their ability to decide responsibly. Legally and morally, the teacher is obligated to build and promote a respectful and learning community of mutual rights. Particularly, must be attentive to avoid any discrimination on ground of sex, race, development, religion, ideology of the students among other peers. When a professional obtains teaching job, also obtains the rights and responsibility of the teachers, especially in their duties in life, that he had done in order to perform a better job and to invade any types of degradation of the youths. One of the general purpose of education is the full development of the potential of each individual, especially nowadays in the students. The society which teachers are part establishes the goals of education and organizational framework within which format education occurs. In its broadest sense, teaching is a process which facilitates learning. Formal teaching activities are based on the specialized application of learning process adapted to meet the education needs of the learner. But according to teacher Alberta, one of the experts, 2002, is that a teacher has professional knowledge and skilled gained through the formal preparation and experience, and teacher provides a personal caring service to pupils by diagnosing their needs and by planning, selecting and using methods and evaluation procedures designed to promote learning. In addition, teacher is a member of the association of the school or the organization, and recognize that membership fees of the beneficial to cost of education and teaching profession accordingly. And an association holds that teachers have a rights and must be accept the corresponding is the one of the responsibility of the teacher. The second major points that I have learned in this module is that teacher as person in authority. Authority concept has close relation with the concept of the power and influence, and authority means legitimate power. Authority meant as the power based upon the satisfaction, the influence of political leaders, and entitled when they are inclined toward authority. The authority is one of the most effective forms of the influence, and not only it is more reliable and durable than the force, but it is a factor that helps leadership and governing in the list of usage of political resources. As a teacher educator, it is my responsibility to influence my students to be knowledgeable and effective students, to share their experiences. However, teacher authority is allowed to students to participate during classes, but one of the most authorities, one of the teachers is grab at the opportunities during the class demonstration. Teacher for having dominance to the classroom need to be authority because anyone other responsible position should be have an authority for being able to accomplish it task. A teacher for reserving peace and in order the world in needs authority resources, but according to Mr. Badri and Bahidi 2010, by this token, teacher can develop an appropriate environment for students learning in classroom by using authorities resources. Learning is one of the most important fields of educational system that over history has been addressed by the philosophers. The main components to learning are teacher and students. The reason of encompasses on the role of the teacher and students. Especially teacher within learning process is the influence of other educational factors such as educational objectives, curriculum, textbook, content, teaching, and methods takes place through teachers to the learners itself. For the same reason, education system the first should direct any kind of improvement and revision within the educational purposes of the school. Education system as the first should any kind of improvement and revision with educational system to the learning process and the role of the teachers and students also itself. This is according to Samadi and Mazidi 2005.